All right, I just got back from watching Spider-Man Brand New Day, and Marvel cooked, man. This was a banger. This whole video is just gonna be me glazing it off the top of my head. I didn't take any notes or anything. Um, there were a few minor issues I had with it, though. It's not like all like 100% perfect A+ movie, but man, Marvel's back with this one. Super happy about it. I'm glad I got nothing spoiled. Luckily, that's the perks of just really staying off social media and the internet. Um, so yeah, I'm definitely gonna be talking about spoilers, and let me just dive right in. So, the movie just picks up where it left off from the previous Spider-Man movie. Like the spells is full effect. Nobody knows who Peter Parker is anymore. So he's just, completely devoting himself to being Spider Man and essentially has no social life anymore. The movie pretty much just kicks off with a 4 or 5 year montage of him, you know, fighting crime, being the neighborhood Spider Man. He fights like Scorpion and Tombstone and um, what's the last one? Oh, the Hand, which is kind of weird because in Iron Fist, like he already fought the Hand, so I'm not really sure if Iron Fist is even canon. I don't know, but yeah, it was. It's a good montage to see some of those some of those villains, and that he's just all contained within New York. It's no longer like this big spectacle. Everything Spider-Man does has like universe-ending consequences. But yeah, he's just completely devoted himself to being Spider-Man. Essentially, really doesn't have much human contact other than calling the head of police on the phone. So yeah, after that, he keeps up with his friends through Ned's social media, and now that brings us to them being in their early 20s now, out of college, and you know Peter goes and stops this like armored truck from destroying the damage control center, I think it was, and from there, um, he goes to talk to Yelena about it, try to get some more information because she's a new Avenger now, and that scene is like pretty funny. He walks in and she tells him to take off his clothes, and he's like questioning it. Like, dude, if Florence Pugh tells me, "Hey, take off your clothes right now and get in this hot tub," I'm not asking twice, dude. I'm not asking twice. She could tell me whatever she wants me to do. I'll do it for because oh my god, yeah, she's gorgeous. But anyway, and then also I noticed Tom Holland is like seriously jacked now. Like he was already in good shape before, but he definitely put on some more muscle, and it looks legit. It doesn't look like he's like on steroids. It looks like it was natural, which like good on him. I mean, it's literally his job. Um, but that's something I also noticed. So yeah, then she tells him to go check out the damage control center. This is more something for him. She's on the Avengers now. Like she deals with bigger threats than this. He can handle that. Um, and then so when he gets there, he meets like Milchick from Severance, and then at this point, I was like, oh, I wish I never watched Severance because like I could just tell he was gonna be a bad guy. I don't know. It's just the way he carries himself. He's a really good actor. He plays that role well, where he's like a little ominous and you can't really like tell what his goals are. But after watching Severance, I'm like, okay, this guy's gonna be like evil in some way. I don't know the way he was carrying himself. Um, you find out that the person that was controlling people through that first fight that Spider-Man had with that armored truck, she was like jumping in between people. It was a telepath, and then that ends up being, Sadie Sink as Jean Grey. Everyone kind of knew that's who she was cast for, because I mean, like a redhead in Marvel, who else is it gonna be? Unless they had her put a wig on or whatever. Um, but I think she does a really good job. Um, it's an interesting newer take on her. The only thing I'll say is I really hope they just skip the Dark Phoenix thing with her because they've already tried Jean Grey Dark Phoenix twice, and I think both times was just a big flop. Like maybe they can just at some point in her future just skip that arc and then have her just be fully fledged like one and the same with the Phoenix, and we can just maybe the Dark Phoenix stuff can happen off screen because she's already kind of does some questionable things in this movie. Um, but anyway, yeah, that's like a tangent, super long tangent. But yeah, like she was good. What am I missing? Oh, Peter goes to he's fully fledged into like his spider DNA. It's kind of taking him over. And they kind of hinted that through like media, like, oh, maybe it's because he's been isolating himself that the spider genes are taking over, um, his human genes, and so he's kind of like evolving in a sense. It powers him up in certain ways, but he also loses his humanity a little bit in the process. So he doesn't like it. He's trying to suppress it, find a way. So he goes to talk to Bruce, and that's how they get the Hulk involved in this. He's wearing a inhibitor, and Peter kind of picks his brain to see if there's a way that could be, you could make a universal inhibitor so that, essentially he could use it on himself. Um, which he does end up accomplishing. He creates that, and yeah, like obviously he's super smart guy, Peter Parker. Um, and that was just probably a way to weave in Bruce Banner. But anyway, yeah, Jean, gets at one point is teasing Peter and gets control of some civilians. Found his identity out and said that she's gonna go, attack Ned and MJ. So he rushes over and gets MJ, thinks that he rescues her, and then there's like this scene that is like so like sad where he thinks that like it's MJ talking to him, but in reality it's Jean and she's controlling her and convinces Peter to kiss her, and it's Peter thinks it's the love's first kiss. It made her remember, and nope, she was playing him, and that's a thing this movie does really well that I thought they were gonna. It went against what I thought they would do, where they really did stick to the script of like, no, his friends do not remember him. Like there is nothing there, and there's nothing he can do to get them to remember him. I like that they stuck with their guns there and made that um, pretty obvious. Like, no, this is the point of the movie. Like, he's struggling. There's literally nothing he can do to fix what happened from the last movie. Um, so yeah, that's a pretty like heartbreaking moment there where yeah he just doesn't he thinks that yeah like the love's first kiss thing will make her remember. Nope. Turns out she was getting control the whole time. So then Peter, got her facial recognition and uses some software to try to track her down, figure out what she's trying to do. Seems like she's attacking the defense. I don't know, defense contractors. I forget the name of that organization. She's attacking them over and over again, and it's because of like this specific code that nobody really knows about. And so he's trying to get some more information on that. Nobody knows. Literally, nobody's even heard of it other than Jean. So he's trying to figure out why is she um, attacking this department over and over again. Um, and he turns to Frank Castle for some help here, which Frank has a lot more in the movie than I thought he would, um, which is awesome. John Berthal is great, and him and Peter go have a good back and forth. Like they have some good on screen chemistry there. Um, and yeah, I that's another thing too. I think they made Peter a little bit more like quippy, but not like over the top in this movie. Like he felt a little bit better, like a just more experienced Spider-Man, where he feels like he's able to like crack some jokes and still crack some skulls. um, but yeah, so I like the Punisher in this. Yeah, Frank was great, and that's another thing in this movie. There's a lot of cool action sequences and stuff. The cinematography is great. I remember early in the movie too, him just swinging around and like the camera work on that was just awesome. Um, but yeah, so he ends up capturing Jean there, but in the process, she controls Hulk and Frank. Um, but ultimately, nothing really bad happens to either of them. Hulk Bruce just falls off the top of a building, but he's still in Hulk form, so he ends up being fine. Um, and then Punisher, literally nothing really happens to him either. They capture Jean. Seems like it's all good to go. But then Peter eventually finds out Milchick lied to him. I still don't even remember Milchick's name. I'm just gonna call him Milchick. Um, but yeah, it turns out he was lying pretty much the whole time. He knew why Jean was after him. It turns out they captured his sister who had the same abilities and were just experimenting on her this whole time. And Jean was just trying to find her. So the Peter realizes, oh, I fucked up. I gotta go help Jean. Now she's in danger. Um, I helped out the wrong people, and he gets there. Jean ends up just obliterating, like a I don't even know, like multiple square mile radius, just stun locks everybody. So she has a little bit of an upgrade to her powers now. Obviously, like if anyone has seen other movies or like read any kind of comics, they know like she's one of the most powerful mutants in all of Marvel. So yeah, crazy to see that power on display. She's getting ready to kill Milchick, and Peter's trying to stop her, and that's when he just takes the inhibitor out again and just completely succumbs to the spider side of him, which um, he learns to pretty much control, and he gets to Jean, really tries to convince her, hey, like murdering this guy is not gonna help you feel any better, and he lets her into his mind, and there's just a super sweet moment and speech from Aunt May that she gave Peter that directly resonates with her. So she, through Aunt May, decides to change her ways, and at this point, I was like, the Punisher had already gone up. He's getting ready to snipe her. I'm like, oh my god, dude! Like Peter's gonna die trying to save her. But he does get sniped by Frank saving her. His Spidey senses kick in, and I'm like, oh my god, dude! If he dies, I'm gonna be so pissed. But luckily, stayed alive, critical condition. Jean kept him alive with her powers, keeping his heart beating basically. And then it's pretty much the end of the film. Right before the credits roll, Ned and Peter do their handshake, and it seems like Ned remembers him. So now we're on track to maybe they can remember him in some way somehow, which is good that they waited until like the end of the movie. Like, okay, this is something that might happen, the next time Peter shows up or in the next Spider-Man movie or something. I like that they kept it contained like the entire movie. Nope, they never remembered who he was. Um, and then yeah, the post credit scene was kind of just a nothing burger there. But overall, yeah, I think this movie was great. I think the music choice was amazing. Like the score was awesome. Um, the script was pretty well written. Like I didn't think anything was like super cheesy or like cringe or anything like some of the other Marvel stuff. Tom Holland is amazing. Like I said, John Bernthal was awesome as Frank. The only thing I really don't like about the ending though is that nothing really happens with Jean. She's just like shown on a bus, like kind of traveling away. Like I wish there was a bit more of like a seed planted for something to happen with her in the future. I'm not sure if they did that because they don't know how they're going to implement all the X-Men yet. I don't know. I don't really like the way things ended with her. It was kind of just like she was kind of just like thrown to the side. That final third of the movie was probably the weakest if I were to pick, but overall, thought this was great. Um, Kind of got me excited for what's to come now, which I haven't felt that way about Marvel probably since Infinity War, to be honest, because Endgame was kind of like the end of that era, and then I was like, okay, we'll see where they pick off from here, and I haven't really liked it since, so I'm excited to see where this goes, and yeah, if you stuck around this long of me ranting, thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.